First at 12:30, tragedy in DeKalb County. 4 family members are dead after a late-night house fire. The latest on what we know about the victims and how investigators believe all of this unfolded.
Colder air has descended upon the eastern half of the continental U.S., including us here in metro Atlanta. Some warmer air, though, may eventually be on the way. How long we have to deal with the cooler air first.
And from 1926 to today, we are highlighting the legacy and untold stories of Black history in Atlanta. Hi, and thank you so much for joining us here on 11Alive Plus. I'm Faith Jesse, and we begin with the latest on a tragic house fire on Atlanta's east side. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of the fire, which has left 4 family members dead. Ariana Maniz has more from fire officials.
DeKalb County Fire says by the time crews arrived to this home, it was already fully engulfed in flames. I spoke to family who struggled to find the words to describe how they were feeling, learning that 4 of their family members died in this fire. We're learning that 1 woman and 4 men were killed. Their names: John Chambers, he was 70 years old; Mary Ann Chambers, 73; Willie Smith, 70; Joseph Thomas, 43. Now, DeKalb County Fire Rescue says that they were dispatched to this home on Winthrop Road just before midnight. Firefighters say a resident outside told them others were still inside the home, so crews immediately started searching the burning home. And during that first search, 1 victim was found and taken to the hospital. But firefighters later found 3 more victims inside the home who all died. Officials say the victim who was taken to the hospital later died. We're also learning that 2 children were living in the home. They made it out safely. Also, while crews were here, family members stood outside the home holding each other as investigators worked the scene.
We did speak to 1 member of the home, and she did identify them all as family members. What their relationship is, I'm not sure.
DeKalb County Fire says they are still working to determine what started this fire. Reporting from DeKalb County, I'm Ariana Maniz for 11Alive.
Well, now to this, the suspect in a library shooting is now in custody. After days of police searching for him, they have taken him into custody. Last there an hour ago, police announced that they arrested Medicus Brown in connection with that shooting at the Decatur library that we have been telling you about. That shooting, it happened Monday night, and right now we know that the victim remains in critical condition at Grady Hospital. As for the library, we're hearing that it will stay closed until Monday. Let's get a check of your 11Alive weather impact forecast. Meteorologist Nicole Hartford joining us. Nicole, it was a little chilly out there after a day of rain.
Yes, it's a lot chillier this morning. In fact, well, I guess it's afternoon now, but temperatures are running about 15 degrees colder than they were this time yesterday. We've also got a lot of cloud cover. That's not new. We had clouds through most of the day yesterday, but these have been really stubborn to clear out. Our view from Northside Hospital looking towards the King and the Queen shows you the kind of overcast conditions. I was just going through a lot of our sky cams, and most of them still have completely overcast skies, but we will start to mix in a little sunshine here and there as the rest of the day progresses. So we'll start seeing a little more sun as we get into this afternoon, and that will hopefully help to kickstart this warm up, because at this point we are still cold and it's windy, making it feel even colder. Right now in Atlanta, we're at 36 degrees. There's winds out of the northwest at about 13 miles per hour. So our feels like temperature is actually 28 across metro Atlanta. And that's the case for a good chunk of North Georgia. Actual air temperatures are still around freezing off towards Canton at 32, Blairsville at 30, 39 in Clayton. Like I said, those temperatures about 15 to even 20 degrees colder right now than they were this time yesterday. Our cloud cover on our satellite radar is still showing overcast skies, but as you go a little bit further west, we are clear. So clearer conditions are coming, and we'll get to enjoy a lot more sunshine by the end of the day today. Temperature wise, not a lot of warm up. We'll be lucky to get up into the 40s as the sun comes out. Feels like temperatures stay in the 30s, and overnight tonight, as those clouds continue to clear, we're in for another pretty cold night, but warmer air is in store. I'll talk more about that coming up. Faith?
Nicole, thank you so much. Hey, now to this. Well, a UGA football player did a TikTok prank, and now he's charged with 11 felonies. Freshman defensive lineman London Seymour, he was arrested last Thursday on 11 counts of felony destruction of property. Sources tell 11Alive that Seymour participated in this TikTok prank where you kick doors and then run away. Well, jail records show that he was held for just over an hour before bonding out. UGA has not commented on his arrest. And the search continues today in Metro Atlanta for rapper Lil Jon's son, Nathan Smith. He was last seen running from his Milton home on Baldwin Drive near Mayfield Road around 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. If you have any idea where he might be or if you see him, police are asking for you to give them a call. Well, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution says it plans to cut 50 jobs, reducing its workforce by about 15%. Most of those cuts we're hearing will be in the newsroom, which printed its final paper at the end of last year. Almost 8,300 gallons of fuel have been recovered from the Flint River and Hartsfield-Jackson Airport after 10,000 gallons spilled into the river last week. We're hearing that the EPA will remain involved in this cleanup until those cleanup goals are met. We are celebrating Black History Month, and this year marks the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. And what began as a single week dedicated to preserving Black history grew into a month-long national observance honoring achievements and sacrifice that helped to shape America. 11Alive's race, culture, and religion reporter Danielle Nottingham is taking a look back at how it started and why its legacy still matters a century later.
It was 1926 when historian Dr. Carter G. Woodson launched Negro History Week. The Virginia native was the second African American to earn a Ph.D. from Harvard and believed the contributions of Black Americans were being ignored.
It was not intended to be the only time we're acknowledging or celebrating Black history. It's intended to be a collective celebration. Right?
Dr. Lanice Littleton from the Atlanta History Center says this happened at the same time Atlanta was emerging as a center of Black intellectual life and activism.
The first Black senator,
W.E.B. Du Bois, the first Black Harvard doctorate, taught at Atlanta University, now Clark Atlanta, where his scholarship helped legitimize the academic study of Black history.
being the premier historian of his time, as well as one of the greatest thinkers in American history. Like, he set the tone for Atlanta to really be the hub of Black history.
Little told history includes the Atlanta washerwomen.
One of my favorite stories in Atlanta's history.
Who went on strike in 1881 demanding fair wages for doing laundry.
Jefferson Long.
And in politics, Jefferson Long became the first Black representative to speak on the floor of the U.S. House.
Who was the first Black congressman elected during Reconstruction from Georgia. There was 100 years between his election and the election of Andrew Young.
It wasn't until 1976 that Negro History Week evolved into Black History Month.
I think it's as important now as it was in 1926, and that 100-year anniversary just signifies that we have to keep going for another 100 years, and that there are undertold stories that need to be told.
And Black History Month received congressional recognition a decade later. In Buckhead, Danielle Nottingham, 11Alive News.
So do you know why we celebrate Black History Month in February? Well, Dr. Woodson wanted to honor the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and abolitionist Frederick Douglass. Fulton County is headed back to court trying to get back 2020 election ballots seized by the FBI. But more than a week after that raid, county leaders revealed their next move. Stay with us. That story is coming up right here on 11Alive Plus.
Clouds are finally starting to clear across portions of really the far western corner of the state. Right now in Rome, we're looking at a mix of some sunshine mixing in there with the cloud cover. The winds are certainly blowing. It is breezy and it is cool as we go throughout the day today. But clouds are starting to clear out. On our satellite radar, you can see most locations are still overcast. We'll be clearing today from west to east, so it'll still be a couple hours for those off into our eastern counties where you start to see a little bit more of the sunshine. As we go throughout the next few hours, though, we'll continue this clearing pattern. We were left with the cloud cover thanks to that cold front that came through, brought the rainfall, even a few flurries and light drizzle this morning across portions of North Georgia. Not expecting any more of that throughout the rest of the day today. Instead, clearing will take over as this ridge of high pressure starts to build in from the west. This ridge of high pressure essentially sets up a little dome, not allowing rainfall to develop throughout the next few days as this really stays in control of our weather pattern. So the next 5 days at least look mostly, if not completely dry across North Georgia. A nice quiet stretch after the pretty active January we endured across the area. We need the rainfall though. So far this year, we normally have about 5¼ inches of rain accumulation. This year, we've gotten just over 3 inches of accumulation, and it's really showing on our drought monitor after a very dry November and even December. The good news is there were no additional areas of drought from our newly updated drought monitor today. So it looks about the same as it did last week. We've still got areas of abnormally dry conditions stretching from Rome through portions of Cobb and Cherokee County, moderate drought through much of metro Atlanta, and then areas of severe to even extreme drought off into far northeast Georgia, including the Athens area, and up into some of our far northern counties, as well as down towards the south into central Georgia. Like I said, no mention of rain here, at least not for the next few days. Instead, we're clearing out. So our forecast track shows less cloud cover by the end of the day today. We'll continue that clearing pattern overnight tonight. So you'll wake up to a lot of sunshine tomorrow morning, and you'll get to enjoy a lot more sun throughout the day tomorrow compared to what we had today. That will allow for some pretty chilly temperatures though, especially through the overnight. High temperatures today, not really getting all that much warmer. We may manage to get up into the 40s, but in a lot of spots, our high temperatures actually likely occurred throughout the overnight hours. Now, overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, we'll fall down into the 20s and right around 30 degrees. So it is going to be a cold start to the day tomorrow morning, pretty much statewide. We'll see lows in the 20s through Canton, Marietta, Covington, although inside the perimeter in metro Atlanta, we may manage to stay right around that 30-degree mark. No matter where you are, you need a coat and gloves early tomorrow morning. That means kiddos at the bus stop do need to be bundled up before they head out. But we will see a little bit more warming tomorrow compared to what we're currently seeing today. Now we've got that cold air that kind of descended upon the eastern half of the continental U.S. Another blast of cold air actually comes down as we move into the weekend. So we'll actually recover a few degrees for those high temperatures tomorrow and then see some additional cooler air come through on Saturday. By the end of the weekend, though, milder air starts to work in from the west as that ridge of high pressure builds, and we're talking high temperatures into the mid to upper 60s by the start of next week. Pretty big change. Like I said, it will be a little bit of a roller coaster to get there. So by tomorrow, highs are up into the mid to upper 50s. We drop into the low 50s for Saturday, and then we kick off that warming pattern into next week. The good news is, even with this weak front, this cooler air coming through on Saturday, we stay dry and we stay sunny. So it'll be a cool but overall really comfortable weekend with temperatures again still chilly in the morning, even with that warm up. Highs will climb up to near 70 degrees into next week. We'll introduce the brief chance for an isolated shower by Wednesday. Stick around, we'll be right back.
This case is not only about Fulton County, it's about elections across Georgia and across the nation.
Fulton County is heading back to court to try and recover those 2020 election ballots that were seized by the FBI last week. This is a story we've been following very closely. And more than a week after those FBI agents raided the Fulton County election hub, county leaders are announcing their next move. 11Alive's Doug Richards has more.
We don't know where they are. We don't know really who has them.
Fulton County Chairman Rob Pitts says the county wants back the 700 boxes of 2020 election ballots and records seized last week. FBI agents raided the warehouse where the county had stored them, documented by this newly released body cam footage worn by local police also on scene.
We don't know what they're doing with them. Are they being tampered with?
Pitts says the extraordinary raid raises questions about the ballot's ongoing security, and the county wants the federal courts to order their return.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation had every right to come in.
At the Wednesday Fulton County Commission meeting, most public comments sidestepped the raid, but Maria Gaudio didn't.
Those ballots belong to us, not to you. And we want our ballots reviewed by somebody who's competent and capable.
This is bigger than just what appears to be the confiscation of our records.
Pitts says he thinks the raid was a pretext for the federal government to try to seize administration of the next presidential election.
This is, I think, probably the first step in whatever they're going to do in order to depress voter participation, voter registration, making whatever changes they think are necessary to help their case in 2026, but more importantly in 2028.
Doug Richards, 11Alive News.
Yeah, Pitts believes that he might be a target of this. He says that he does expect arrests, perhaps including him and maybe even some state officials. It comes as President Trump sat down with NBC's Tom Yamas in an exclusive interview. The president addressed several topics, including the future of elections and his debunked claims of widespread fraud in the 2020 election.
They're going to look at him, and now they're going to find out the true winner of that state.
There is no evidence that Georgia's results were marred by fraud, and a hand count of ballots confirmed those results shortly after the election. Still ahead here, heart disease is still the nation's biggest killer, but there's a new way to rethink weight, health, and the heart. We'll look at it when we come back. Well, today there's a stark reminder of just how serious heart disease remains in our country. Despite decades of awareness and treatment advances, the numbers behind this illness are still sobering. Let's take a look here. The National Institutes of Health say that coronary heart disease has caused more than 370,000 deaths in the U.S. in 2022, the latest data here making it the nation's leading cause of death. Right now, more than 17 million Americans are living with coronary heart disease, and the NIH regards obesity as one of the leading risk factors for heart disease. Well, now WebMD is launching a new platform designed to help people build healthier habits benefiting their hearts. And this morning on 11Alive Plus, Stephanie Haynock spoke with an Atlanta-based physician to talk about how you can improve your heart health.
Good morning, Dr. Pothik. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for shining a light on heart health.
Absolutely. I was just telling you, this is perfect timing to have this conversation because I just had my annual checkup yesterday where they monitor those things like high cholesterol. So tell me, why does heart disease remain the leading cause of death despite all we know about prevention?
I think there are a staggering number of people in the U.S. that are living with some form of heart disease, and it comes from, I think, two ways to think about risk factors. So the first are the set of risk factors that we traditionally think about. So increases in weight, which travels with higher blood pressure, higher cholesterol, higher sugar. But then there are also those risk factors that we can do a lot about: what we put on our plate, how much we move, how much stress we have in our lives, and how well we sleep. If we think about those risk factors, we can impact all of those other risk factors altogether.
So when patients say they've tried everything to lose weight, what are they really up against medically?
So I think what we at WebMD really want to help people understand is that there are so many things that make up our lives, and it's really hard to make healthy lifestyle changes on your own. So if you go to your doctor, they give you a prescription, you know the name of that medicine, you know the dose, and you know when to take it. But if you're told to do something healthier, like eat healthier or move more, that guidance is really vague. So what we really wanted to do with the Body platform is to make that guidance really concrete so that you can think about in your life, how are you going to change how you eat? How are you going to make that healthier? How are you going to implement more exercise in your life? And what are the things you can do to sleep better and to have less stress in your life? So this Embody platform at uembody.com is really meant to help you along that journey.
Yeah, and so WebMD, okay, so we know it's known for information. So how exactly are you guys working to, help people turn that information into action?
So this new platform really allows us, and it was designed to do a couple of things. One, it was to get the leading experts to help us understand what are the changes we need to make. So these leading experts will help us tune out the noise of, all of the different information around food and exercise and sleep and stress, and really hone in on the most important things you can do. And the second piece is the how. How are we going to do it? So we want to offer free resources to everyone, anywhere, to figure out what works best in their lives. Are you someone that works best with a live workshop? We will offer those. Do you need a free downloadable with information that you can just pin up on your refrigerator? This website will offer that information as well. Or do you want to take a self-paced course to really hone in on one thing that you want to change and work on that? And then hopefully that will become the start of a journey to a healthier lifestyle.
We've got about 45 seconds left, but I do want to ask, if someone is watching right now, they're just feeling really stuck, what's the first step you would, offer them to take?
I would say, rather than looking around and thinking about everything you need to change, think about one thing you want to change. And then think about going to uembody.com and helping us with that, helping you on that journey to make that change with the best information possible.
Okay, I love that. Don't do everything at once, just a gradual progression.
Hey, you can check more interviews like this on 11Alive Plus. We are live every day from 4:30 a.m. through 1 p.m. weekdays on 11Alive Plus. We'll be right back.
It's chilly and cloudy now, but sunshine gradually works its way back into the forecast by the end.